If you're worried about free will when manifesting your desire, and if you think that other people's free will is the reason that you might be struggling with your manifestation, then this video is definitely for you. Free will and the question about free will often comes up when people are manifesting an SP. Mostly that's romantic, not always. Or when people are manifesting situations where other people are involved. So it can be anything related to your family, friends, or maybe you are manifesting a very specific job at a very specific company. Some specific people need to hire you, or anything really where people are involved. Often people, manifestors, conscious manifestors, worry about those people's free will. And it either comes up as they have the free will to not want the situation that I'm manifesting, so to reject so that I don't get the desire, or I am manipulating their free will. None of which is actually the case, and we are going to unpack all that you need to know about free will so that you can manifest your desire with clear conscience, and hopefully I will help you get rid of some of that resistance you have around this topic. With that said, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a manifestation coach. I have around 15 years of experience in conscious manifesting and several years of experience in coaching. And on this channel, I am teaching the law of assumption as taught by Neville Goddard, while I also keep it simple and practical so that you can take it and apply it to your own manifestations right away. So if that's what you are looking for, you're definitely in the right place. Please subscribe and stay for more. And if you happen to need any additional help with your manifestations, I will be happy to guide you. The link for the one-on-one coachings called coaching is in the description. And let's talk about free will. Now, every time I am making a video explaining a problem that people have with manifestation, I always tend to go back to the basics and explain manifestation itself, how it works, because I find that when you are reminded regularly of how it actually works, first of all, it improves your faith, strengthens, I should say, your faith in your ability to manifest your desire. But apart from that, it simply answers all the questions. So in order to understand free will, we need to understand how manifestation works. Manifestation is simply how the law of the universe works. But in more practical terms, it's the mind, the science of the mind, the imagination, which means that anything you are imagining has to be pushed out. Anything that you are imagining to the point of being impressed on your subconscious mind has to be expressed, which makes it completely subjective. This means that your experience is only your experience. Your experience is 100% subjective, and nothing outside of you can influence it. Even when something happens and you have a bad feeling about it, for example, or a good feeling about it, it's still on the inside. It happens on the inside. It creates assumptions on the inside. It creates the feeling state on the inside of you, which then reinforces the belief and gets pushed out again. So no matter how you look at it, it's a subjective experience. The concept of free will is one of many things that society has come up with because most people don't know that we are manifesting our experiences. Most people don't know that we are responsible for anything that we are experiencing, which means that you can't experience anything on the outside that hasn't been experienced on the inside first. So when you don't know this, you tend to want to blame, I guess, the lack of success on something else or someone else. This is something humans do. I don't know if it's in our nature or if we are just programmed like that, but it's so easy for people to just blame it on something else. Free will is one of those things because, and I mean this really quote unquote sarcastic, because we couldn't possibly take responsibility for anything, any experience that we didn't desire, right? But that's not how manifestation works. Manifestation is subjective and non-judgmental, which means that you are whichever situation you continuously think about is going to be manifested, whether you like it or not. So the short answer is that other people don't have free will in your experience, because your experience is completely 100% subjective, manifested from your mind. Okay? So that's one thing. Another thing is the concept of, which is part of manifestation, everyone is you pushed out. So if everyone is you pushed out, everyone is going to reflect back to you your own assumptions about yourself, about them, about yourself in relation to them, about that particular situation you're in. So taking this into consideration, it opposes the idea of free will. When you create the story about free will, that is also going to be pushed out, because then you have a story about it and it's going to manifest, but it's also subjective because that is also your story. So it's not because people have free will that you can't manifest them. It's all those limiting beliefs that we have about people, about ourselves, about whatever the situation is. So in order to change this story, you need to repeat to yourself the truth of how this works, because that will reprogram your mind around this, remembering that manifestation, the law of assumption, the law of your mind, is a universal law. And it's a law like gravity. You can't switch it on and off. You can't, first of all, you can't switch it on and off. It's continuously going to work, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not. And regardless of who you are, what your circumstances are, how bad you feel about it, how good you feel about it, it's not going to care. That is what I mean when I say it's not judgmental. It just doesn't care about anything. It's simply going to manifest. Just like gravity doesn't care who you are. If you are falling, you're going to fall. You're going to hit the ground. So apart from that, comparing it to gravity, if it's a law that works always, then there is no such thing as I can manifest a cup of coffee where there are always also people involved. Someone has to make that coffee and offer it to you. And I can manifest money. There are also people involved in that. I can manifest weight loss. You are involved in that. But I can't manifest an SP. Or I have manifested that SP and that SP, but I can't manifest this SP. So it's either you're manifesting everything or or you are not manifesting anything. The latter is not possible to believe for, I believe, the majority of you, because I am sure that you have manifested at least something in your reality. So if we are going, if we are considering the idea of maybe I can manifest some things but not other things, then someone really needs to explain where the line goes. Because for someone like me, as I said in the beginning of the video, I have 15 years of experience in this. I have tested so many things. A lot of it didn't work, and that was in the beginning, etc. When this started to work, I was really testing everything. I have manifested countless objects, situations, people, not just romantic, but a lot of things, including people. And several of these people would, before I decided to actually implement, to manifest the situation, they would look at me and say, Anna, this is not going to work. I'm not going to do it. This is none of your business. Stay out of it. It's never going to happen. And then when Anna switched off the 3D and went back to her imagination, the situation changed. The 3D conformed and it manifested. So it's so important that you test these things, because when you gain experiences like that, no one will be able to tell you that someone has the free will to reject your manifestation. So therefore, if your manifestation seems to not work, you're struggling, something is off, or it's just not moving, it is only because of you. And I don't mean this as a blame at all. I mean this as a responsibility, and I mean this as you hold the power. This is good news, because if you always go back to the thought that this is on me, because I am the only one who can manifest or unmanifest things in my reality, then I have all the power to change it to my liking and get what I want out of it. And if it's not working, then I might be doing something wrong, which is good news, because I can figure out what I'm doing wrong, correct it, and then get my manifestation anyway. I want to very quickly go back to the idea that your manifestations are subjective. And this is also very helpful to remember, because what this means whenever you are manifesting anything, including your specific person, is that you are not manifesting them. You are manifesting you. You are manifesting the version of you who has that relationship, that gets that treatment, whatever you are manifesting. Oftentimes, especially when manifesting an SP, the focus is always on them. They're behaving like this, they are not contacting me, they are stubborn, etc., etc. All of those things are your own assumptions, so they are manifesting. Again, back to it being subjective. And in reality, it's not them who are not changing. It is you who are not changing. So it's not because they have free will and they decide not to want you. It's simply because you haven't just yet changed the image and the story that you hold of them. So it's always you. Go back to the idea that your reality, your circumstances, your situation, and also your desired outcome depends entirely on you, because no one to change but self. That is a favorite quote by Neville Goddard, which means that you are not changing them, you are changing your own assumptions about them. So that is one thing. That is probably the most important thing to understand about free will. Another very, very interesting and very important thing to understand free will, to understand about free will, is that not only you are the only one holding the free will in your experience, but you only have free will in your mind. When people talk about free will, they often talk about the freedom of choice, freedom to act. You actually don't have that freedom, for a simple reason that whatever you choose to do, however you choose to act, that is a manifestation of your current belief system. So you only ever have the freedom to choose your thoughts and choose your mental images, to choose whatever you are imagining, because everything else is a manifestation of that. So even you don't, we think we have the freedom to do the things that we do, but it's not freedom, it's manifestation. So therefore, again, take into consideration the fact that your reality is a manifestation of your mind, and it's completely 100% subjective, which excludes other people's free will. If it's 100% subjective, there's no one that can mess with it except you. I have talked about in other videos that the only thing that delays your manifestation, for example, is your focus on the opposite or the lack of it. It's the same thing. Everything comes down to the same thing. You are the only person, I think I read this. I have mentioned Genevieve Barron's book in one of my latest videos. And I think it was in that book where she said that the only power that can delay or quote unquote mess with your manifestation is the same power that creates it, which is your mind. There's nothing outside of you deciding what you can or can't have. There's nothing, basically that there's nothing outside of you deciding what you can or can't have. And again, speaking of blaming on the outside, I know I'm going a little back and forth with these topics, bear with me. It's also, how many of you have not heard, oh, if it didn't work out, then it wasn't meant for you. Excuse me, who decides what is meant for you, what is not? Or, oh, if it didn't work out, don't worry, the universe has something better coming for you. The universe doesn't decide what is something better, what is not. Like, what could possibly be better than your actual desire? It doesn't work like that. And all this is simply a way of not taking responsibility or sometimes not knowing how it works. Don't worry if you're struggling to manifest, if it looks like it's not manifesting, it's not on the outside. It's probably because you might be doing something wrong, and I can't repeat enough that that's a good thing. Again, it means that you can figure out what you're doing wrong, you can correct it, and then get the desired outcome anyway. So this was more or less it about free will. There's no free will outside of your own mind for your own experiences. So pay attention to what stories you are telling about the people that you are manifesting, and bring the power back to you. And to prove my point with this, I am going to link another video right here in a moment where I explain how you can't take action when you are manifesting, because your actions are also a manifestation of your own mind. Going back to the fact that not only are you the only one holding the free will in your experience, but the only place where you have free will is your mind. So all you need to do is imagine your desired outcome to the best of your abilities. So if that is something that interests you, the video will be right here. And once again, if you need any additional help with your manifestations, I do offer one-on-one coaching. The link is in the description box below, and see you in the next video.